Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar, Acendo webinar by Harman. My name is Julie Rolls. I am the training manager at PSA, and I will be moderating today's call. I have just a few quick housekeeping items before I hand it over to Chris Whitley, president of USAV, for a quick introduction of today's webinar. First, if you've not done so already, please mute yourself. If you happen to have any questions throughout the course of this presentation, please type them into the chat panel and we will have time for Q&A at the end of this presentation. If you happen to run into any technical difficulties, please type that into the chat panel and I'll do my best to get you back up and running as soon as possible. With that, I'm going to hand it over to Chris Whitley.
Thank you, Julie. And thank all of you for attending and participating on this. We know your time is very valuable, so we appreciate you joining this call. We're excited to have this education series with Harman. They're going to be introducing a new family of products, the Acendo family, and this is going to be an overview presented by Stephen Bogart with Harman. And at this point in time, Stephen, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to you, and you can kick us off. Thank you.
Great. So today we're going to be talking about the new AMX Acendo overview of products. So this family of products consists of basically three products: Acendo Book, Acendo Core, and Acendo Vibe. These are really designed for the huddle space. So think 4 to 6 people, 12 to 15 feet room. Not a big conference room type solution, but these can also be used as independent products in those larger conference rooms. And we'll get into more details on that here in a minute. So huddle space around the world is really becoming a challenging environment, right? So the end users have lots of these. They don't want to spend a lot of money, but they want to have a good quality experience. Being able to just set the cell phone up on the table and put it on speaker is not ideal, but it does need to fit in with the overall scope and look and feel of the corporate environment. So Acendo Vibe. Acendo Vibe is a professional soundbar with sound by JBL. Has a far field microphone so you can hear everybody in the room. You're actually hearing it today. And it has an integrated DSP for acoustic echo cancellation. In addition, you have HDMI. Well, why would you want HDMI in the soundbar? So HDMI allows you to control the TV. So think hooking up an HDMI to your laptop, it turning the TV on. Disconnecting the HDMI from your laptop would then turn the TV off. Also has Bluetooth, but it's a commercial Bluetooth, so it's not like your consumer Bluetooth. I don't know if any of you have experienced this when you're filling your car up at the gas station. Your phone rings, you pick it up, and your car answers, and nobody can hear you. Well, that would be kind of embarrassing in a commercial environment. So every time you go to pair up to the Vibe, it's a physical pairing on the phone. It doesn't repair like a consumer Bluetooth would. And we also have analog in and optical in case you want to integrate those into larger rooms and larger spaces. The camera on the Vibe is 100-degree field of view, so it's going to allow you to see everybody in that huddle space. Also, the camera can be rotated to go back and forth to be able to set it ideally for the space. It doesn't do any kind of pan tilt from an electronic standpoint. It's a physical moving of it. There's also a ring that's around the camera that's going to indicate when the camera is turned on, and an ability to turn the camera 180 degrees for those people that are concerned about privacy. Try to avoid getting the duct tape put over the top of the lens. So it's available in 2 colors. Sorry, it says 3 colors. I need to change that. We did a test on the blue one. The blue one did not test very well, so that one has been eliminated. It is available in gray and black. They did a really good job with the mounting bracket on this, in my opinion. It completely separates from the soundbar, so you have the ability to mount this bracket separate. And they also integrated a measuring tape in it such that you rotate this bracket sideways, put it up underneath the display, draw a line. That's where your bracket needs to be installed. There's also cable retention straps that are located here for strain relief on those cables to keep those from pulling out. It's also a Bluetooth remote, has a volume ring that goes on the outside of it, also the ability to pair your Bluetooth device and turn Bluetooth pairing on, mute your speakers, mute your microphone, hang up your call, and then also source selection on the front. Again, we have that Bluetooth audio, the analog audio, USB audio, all capable in the Vibe, and it's a switch, not a mix. The AA batteries in the remote will last years, as long as you don't leave them in your case, not powered to a Vibe and it's searching for a Vibe. But in installation, you would be able to leave that out for years without having to worry about the batteries. So in this application where we're just connecting up a laptop to the Vibe to a display, again, this can be completely standalone or paired with the additional Acendo products, which we'll talk to you in just a minute. Also can be used as your speakerphone on your phone. And then it can also be paired with Core, which we're going to get into more detail on what Core is here in a minute. Acendo Vibe is available with and without the camera. When you lose the camera, you also lose the HDMI, CEC, and camera options. All of these are available now in gray and black. $9.95 is MSRP for without the camera, $14.45 with the camera. All right, so second product, Acendo Core. So Acendo Core is really designed to be that soft codec interface, right? So we're seeing more and more of these huddle spaces where they really can't afford to do a $10,000 codec in that space, but want to be able to do Skype for Business, Zoom, WebEx, any of those applications can be done with Core. But we need to make it easy for the end user. In other words, they're not having to go and figure out a connection or hooking up their device. It should be just walk in and use the room. So that's what Acendo Core is designed for, is be able to easily come into the room, start your conference, and have your meeting. So the Acendo Core has a one-click interface for Skype for Business. It is a Windows 10 computer, so the advantage of that is you could add or change it to Zoom or WebEx or GoToMeeting or GoToTraining or whatever interface you wanted to have on Acendo Core. You then publish that profile out to the guest login such that they can't install anything on the PC. Or they can't install anything on Core. And then every time they tear down a meeting, it erases any content that was on there, any storage, any links that were in the web page go away. So the look and feel of Acendo Core is really that of a thin, fanless anodized aluminum case. This could be very easily installed out on a credenza, but then can also be put back behind the display and will include brackets for mounting it to the wall. For the Gazenas and Gazautas, we have 6 USB ports. So this is to support thumb drives, wireless keyboard and mouse, touch interfaces. Really, it's any USB 2 device. Also, 2 HDMI ports. Because it's a Windows 10 PC, this can be set up in extended desktop, so like a dual monitor situation, or it can be mirrored, where you have maybe a lectern monitor in addition to a projector. It also has 2 network ports. So I get asked a lot, why 2? Well, that allows you to straddle different networks. So you could have a guest network and a corporate network, both being attended to, allowing you to share content from both of those. So in a corporate environment where guests aren't allowed to join the corporate network, like at Harman, you could have the one port over to the guest network, allowing them to connect to guest Wi-Fi, and the other port connected to the corporate network. You also have analog in and out, so if you're putting it into a larger conference room and you want to do a BSS, acoustic echo cancellation, you absolutely can do that from the Acendo device. This is kind of what the start screen looks like, and actually you're seeing this presentation on Core, so we'll get into a little bit more of a live demo on that as well. But this is for Skype for Business, and it integrates in with Acendo Book, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. But you can see down here in the lower right-hand corner, I can actually pull up the meeting, and it tells me that I have this meeting scheduled till 11:30. I would also get end of meeting notifications, or I could book the meeting room directly from that interface. So it really ties in that PC application of Acendo Core in with Acendo Book as well. And as I mentioned, when the meeting is close to being done, you get a notification that you have just a few minutes remaining. If there's not a meeting backing up, you have the ability to extend your meeting into that available time. Skype for Business, it literally is a click to the meeting start, and it's going to dial all the participants. That comes native in Core. That doesn't mean that you can't do Zoom or WebEx or some other soft codec. It is multitask capable, so in other words, you can share content from up to 4 wireless devices, and that wireless device can be coming in from Chromecast on a PC or Miracast on an Android device, or Apple AirPlay on an iPad. And it will allow and optimize the screen for up to four devices at one time. So if you're connecting from an iPhone, you're just going to connect to the wireless access point that's in that area. You're going to scroll up from the bottom of your phone, select Acendo Core, and it's going to show up on the screen. And it is a true mirroring. Unlike the Enzo product, which allows you to do Mirror Op, which is an application that you do on your iPhone or on your tablet, which only exists inside that given application, it is a true mirror. So if you have a corporate client that needs to train on their new healthcare application that they're launching, they would be able to show everything that's on the iPad screen would show up on their presentation. When you rotate your phone, it would also rotate the image on the screen. If you connect for Windows, it's using Chromecast, so basically the Chrome browser. So again, no real software to install. Almost everybody has Chrome on their PC. You click in the upper right-hand corner, you'll get a menu button calling Cast. From Cast, you can choose to select Cast to and change it from a tab, which means just the desktop, or the entire computer, which means true mirroring of the computer. And again, doesn't matter what mix and match, if it's AirPlay, Chromecast, or Miracast, all at the same time. So kind of in summary, scheduling support for Office 365 and Exchange, and then also tying into Acendo Book, which we're going to talk about next. One-click meetings for Skype for Business, but not necessarily limited to that. Into meeting notifications, built-in document viewing. I'm actually doing this presentation not from PowerPoint, but from the document viewer itself, and then wireless screen sharing. This is a 4K dual screen support, but then it also runs 1080p or 720. I'm actually running it on a 720 screen today, and you can integrate it into touchscreen. So your favorite Samsung interactive screen can become that interface, which makes for a very nice huddle space solution. This product is not quite shipping yet. End of next month. MSRP is $28.95, And there you see it mounted back behind the screen. I like the way this is mounted with it sticking out a little bit with the USBs, but you could also remote those USBs over to the table, or using our Hydra ports, have a USB port on the Hydra port if you wanted to have that. Final product is the Acendo Book. Acendo Book was launched about a year ago as Room Book, and now has been brought into the Acendo line, tying in with Acendo Core. So, as a funny story, I was going and doing a demo for a Fortune 100 company who was looking at scheduling, right? And in the past, you had to have server software, you had to have backend software called RMS, and we still do that, right? So you still have the ability to do that, but they were looking for a solution that was just a scheduling panel to be on the wall. So this is to compete more with the just the schedulers like Evoku and Steelcase and those, where there really is no back-end software. I like to explain this as more like the cell phone on the wall. But I was doing this demo, and we went to go use the room that they had scheduled, and somebody was squatting in it. And it happened to be that it was a corporate layoff meeting, and they couldn't really move the meeting. So then we spent about the next 20 minutes running from room to room, trying to figure out a room that was available. So it was kind of a good demo because it kind of explained the reason why they needed something like Acendo Book. There's not a lot of a customization on Acendo Book. You basically can customize this logo here in the upper right-hand corner and choose whether or not you want to connect it to adjacent rooms. The browse rooms functions, think of it like maybe a sales floor, and you come up, or that end user, the Fortune 100, and they were doing a corporate layoff, and it was a higher level person, and I had to go find another room. I could have just simply selected browse rooms, and it would show me the rooms that weren't that were available in green or red if they were booked. You also have the ability to book directly from the panel. You also have a setting that if you don't want them to be able to book from the panel, it's a read only, or it can require a PIN. So as I mentioned, this is going to integrate with Office 365, Exchange, or Google Calendar. There is a remote firmware capability and no requirement for any kind of server software or infrastructure. You're literally just putting it in like you would on your cell phone, the Exchange information, username, and password. It's a very, very thin profile if you haven't seen one of the Acendo books. It also has an optional glass mount to be able to mount directly on glass, which happens a lot in huddle spaces and modern conference rooms. And that would include a flat ribbon cable that then can run up to the network. These are just standard PoE devices, so no power supply is required. It's just Ethernet, and it's not PoE plus, it's just standard PoE. They will show red when they're booked, green when they're available. They are available in either a 7-inch or a 10-inch. These are now shipping, MSRP $1,900, 10-inch panel $2,900. If you're selling to the education space, higher ed, the Education Alliance programs also have these units at a deeper discount. So get with your local education rep for pricing on those. So at that point, I will open it up to questions.
Great. One question that I had, what other advantages does Core have over a laptop or room PC?
Well, you're not going to be dealing with the configuration issues of a laptop trying to integrate a laptop into the solution. The Core will absolutely allow you to bring that in over Chromecast, but having the Acendo Core in there can eliminate all the cables on the table, allowing you to just present wirelessly. Also a known configuration, which helps the IT support guy.
Great. Can you use other soft codecs besides Skype?
Yeah, so any WebEx, Zoom, GoToMeeting, any of those third-party devices, because this is a true Windows device and not a Linux or that type of device, any PC application you want to run, even if it's a homegrown from the end user and they want to be able to run that as a conferencing solution.
Great. Are there any ongoing maintenance costs for Acendo products?
No, and that's a great question, and really a differentiation for all of the Harman products. We don't charge ongoing licensing fees. There's not a 10% per year software support. These items are a 3-year warranty device. They don't stop working at the end of 3 years, but that warranty can also be extended up to 5 years.
Excellent. Can you use the Acendo products standalone?
Yep, absolutely. Keep in mind the Acendo Vibe is really the only one that is going to be limited in its application, and it's literally because of that microarray and what that microarray is designed for. Keep in mind, 3 to 5 meters is what they say, and for those of us that are English and haven't learned the meter system yet, it's really 9 to 15 feet, with 12 being the ideal. So once you get beyond about 12 feet, 15 feet, then it becomes less useful. Acendo Core could absolutely even be used as a replacement for a lectern PC, where you have a known image on it. And Acendo Book, again, has been out for a little over a year and is completely standalone, but then also integrates in with Core, being able to book meetings either from Core or from Book and show up on the other.
Great. Looks like I had one more question come in. How can we connect Wi-Fi to the Core?
Okay, so on Core, there's actually 2 wired connections and a wireless connection. So you'll notice here on Core, I've got it shown up on my Wi-Fi here. So I didn't mention that. That's a good point. So it can join the Wi-Fi that already exists. It does not generate its own Wi-Fi. And that's for a really good reason. Corporate IT managers really don't like rogue Wi-Fis. So this is designed so it could join that corporate Wi-Fi. It could also join the corporate network, or if they want to have a hotspot capability on the unit, you have those 2 Ethernets, and putting a Ruckus WAP on there would work really well.
Great. Does Core have built-in echo cancellation?
Core does not. So it would be up to the application. Like I know Zoom meetings does, I think Skype does, or tying in something like Acendo Vibe, which is going to have echo cancellation built into it, or your BSS, or your Biamp or QSC, or any of the clear ones, or those type of DSP. Acendo Core is really a Windows 10 PC with the ability to do wireless content sharing. So I didn't show that live, but I'll share from my phone. So that's my phone. Where'd my iPad go? iPad, same way.
Okay. I think there's another question that kind of goes along these lines. Can the user change which display the Chromecast is shown on if there are multiple displays?
Yeah, and that's a good point, because a lot of the soft codecs are really designed for a single screen, so they're not going to screen to both screens at one time. But yes, you can choose which one it does, just like you would on your PC.
Great. I think that is all of the questions that we had for today. If you would like to review this presentation again or would like to pass it along, we will have a recorded version of it posted soon. You can find it by visiting psasecurity.com/education. Thank you very much to Stephen Bogart of Harman. If you have any more questions for Harman or Stephen, you can reach out to them after today's presentation. Please visit our website, that's psasecurity.com, to be sure that you're leveraging all that PSA has to offer. On our homepage, you can access future webinar events, this recording, educational offerings, and business solutions. This will conclude today's presentation. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have a great day.